So we're now going to begin our third springtime practice. This one's going to take on a different element of springtime. We're going to be focusing a lot on standing postures and just really finding that stability in the body, feeling that earthing sensation and just feeling yourselves grounding into the mat. We're also going to be focusing on strengthening through the core, picking it up a little bit, but just doing what you can, as I always say. Just taking an easier modification if you need to, dropping down onto the knees in any chaturangas, or just even dropping into child's pose if you want to. Hopefully you enjoy class. So we're firstly going to begin in thunderbolt, so knees are together here and just allowing sit bones to rest on the heels. But since we're focusing a lot on standing postures, we're just going to begin by opening out the feet. So in order to do this, we're going to tuck toes under. So if you just look here, I'm just allowing the toes to tuck under and I'm resting the sit bones on the heels. So just allow your eyes to close over, rest the hands on the thighs. This might feel uncomfortable, so I want you to tune into the breath so your focus is on your breath. Becoming aware of the breath. An expansion in the rib cage as you breathe in. And now your rib cage draws in as you breathe out. Making sure you're sitting up nice and tall. And you're going to interlace your fingers here and reach palms up towards the ceiling, still keeping your eyes closed if you can. As you breathe out, reach the hands forward so the palms are facing outwards, and just allow the spine to curve as you draw the chin gently in towards the chest. As you breathe in, reach palms back up towards the ceiling as you create length through the spine. And as you breathe out, reach the palms in front of you again as you arch through the back and draw the chin in towards the chest. And again, inhaling, reaching the palms up. And exhale as you arch through the back, reaching the palms out in front, dropping the chin in towards the chest. And one more deep breath in here, stretching the arms overhead. And one deep breath out as you arch through the back and empty the lungs of the breath. Inhaling, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands and gently open your eyes. And just release onto the tops of the feet now. From here, you're going to take the hands behind, open through the chest and gently lift the knees off the mat. So now we're feeling a stretch through the front of the feet. And just taking a moment to open now this part of the body. And you can even reach the knees a little bit further off the mat, walk the hands a little bit further behind, just making any adjustments that you need to feel this stretch in the body. Continuing to breathe in through your nose and out through the nose. So for the whole practice, we're continuing with this rhythm of breath. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breathing, switch on that rhythm of breath. If you're not, just continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then just walk the hands forward, allow the knees to come back down towards the mat. From here, we're going to make our way into an all fours position, so hands come shoulder width apart, knees come hip distance. And just beginning to mobilize through the spine, allow the belly to drop down towards the mat, bring the tailbone up, and as we open through this space and the collarbones, bring the gaze up towards the ceiling. On an exhalation, press into the hands and arch through the back as much as you possibly can, bringing shoulder blades together. Breathing in, open through the heart center as you drop the belly, bring the tailbone up and gaze up. And exiting again, arching through the back, coming into cats. And as you breathe in again, allow the belly to drop down towards the mat, bring the tailbone up and gaze up left. And on an exhalation, press into the hands, arch through the back. And then make your way into a neutral spine. From here, we're going to bring the right leg behind. hold this here. So all 5 toes should be pointing towards the mat. Feeling our core engage as we extend the leg behind, and you don't want to be lifting it too high. Trying to keep it in line with your hips. Engaging with your breath still. Now we're going to extend the leg out to the side. So we're either going to do this with a straight leg or bend the knee. So extending the right leg out to the side, trying to keep it to hip height. So we're working into all these tiny stabilizer muscles around that leg and around that hip. Feeling your core really having to switch on here. Now draw the leg behind. Release the knee down towards the mat. Come into cow again as you exhale, dropping belly, gazing up. And then arch through the back as you come into cat, bringing shoulder blades together. Come into a neutral spine. Repeat the same with the left leg now. So we're extending this leg behind. The foot is flexed. Toes are pointing down towards the mat. The heel is drawing away from you. And you want to try and keep the hip bones facing towards the mat. And just again, we're switching on our core to stabilize this leg. Now from here, extending the left leg out to the side. So either bend the knee or try to keep the leg straight. Trying to keep the left leg in line with the hip. Try and not just draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Now extend the leg back behind. Allow the knee to come down towards the mat. From here, tuck the toes under, lift the knees about an inch off the mat and hold this here. So continuing to fire up the belly, create strength through the core for the practice ahead. And as you exhale, sink heels down towards the mat, coming into downward facing dog. So in downward dog, we're constantly thinking about our foundation, actually not just only in this posture, but in every single posture in the yoga practice. So making sure the feet are hip distance apart, the hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are really widely spread. Descending the heels down towards the mat. You can even pedal through the feet, bending into one knee and then the other. Or it might even feel nice to just rock the head from side to side. So I want you to tune into your body, recognizing what your body needs. And just thinking about continuing to create length through the back of the body. Now from here, you're going to walk the hands towards the feet. And come into a forward fold at the back of the mat. We're going to hook peace fingers around the big toes. So just bending your knees as much as you have to. You're bending the elbows out to either side. Taking the head towards the mat, drawing the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Maybe with each breath, you just try and straighten your legs a little bit further. Trying to really hollow through the belly to create space there to fold. Release hands. Gently allow your spine to uncurl as you come up to standing, feet are hip distance apart, bring arms overhead. Palms come together, gazing to your thumbs. As you exhale, take the thumbs down the center line, coming back into a forward fold, releasing hands down onto the mat. From here, we're going to walk into plank pose. So begin to walk your hands forwards. And then take shoulders above the wrist, creating that straight line from shoulders to your heels, making sure thighs are firmly engaged. As you breathe in, take the right knee in towards the chest. And then as you exhale, release back there into plank. Left knee in towards the chest. Exhale to release back into plank. So we're really firming up the core here, draw right knee in. Exhale to release. Left knee Exhale, release the foot hip distance apart one more time with the right knee. Hovering a few inches off the mat. Pressing into the hands, especially the tips of the fingers. Noticing how the tips of your fingers almost go white here. Then allow the foot to come through between the hands. Drop the back foot down onto the mat, and as you breathe in, take arms overhead. As you breathe out, take the palms together, thumbs come to the sternum. Sink down into the front knee as you open through the hips. Stretch through the left hip flexor. Lengthen the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. From here, you're going to take the right elbow to the inside of the right knee, spinning the chest to the longer end of the mat, drawing the left elbow up towards the ceiling. Then release the right hand to the inside of the right foot and reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. Spin on the left heel so the shin is parallel with the shorter end of the mat. Coming into a variation of Utthita Konasana. Beginning to open through the inner thigh of the right leg. And expanding through the chest. As you exhale, release the left hand down onto the mat. Swivel on the left knee. Right hand comes to the outside of the right foot, tuck back, toes under, lift the knee off the mat. Hop through to Uttanasana, forward fold, taking an exhale here. As you inhale, place the hands onto the shins, come into a halfway lift. As you breathe out, melt the torso back down towards the thighs. On your next inhale, sweep arms overhead. Bring palms together. This time as you exhale, take the hands onto the hips. So we're going to do this with the left leg, but I'll just do the right leg so that you can see me. So as you breathe in, you're going to extend the left leg out to the side. And then as you breathe out, descend the foot back down towards the mat. So as your hands are on the hips here, you're feeling your core engaged. As you breathe in, take the left leg up to the center. And then as you breathe out, drop back down towards the mat. Another 3 more of these, so inhaling, lifting the leg out to the side. Exhale, draw it to the center, so working the adductors here, inhaling again. And exhale. Inhaling, reaching the leg a little bit higher up if you can. And then exhale, release it down onto the mat. Keep that leg hovering. Release the hands down onto the mat again, still keeping the foot hovering off the mat. And take the leg behind, so coming into a modified version of Virabhadrasana 3. Back leg is nice and strong, softening into the front knee if you need to. Then release that knee, foot all the way down onto the mat. Then release the knee down. As you breathe in, take arms up towards the ceiling. Coming back into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Take thumbs together in front of the chest as the palms come together. Now we're going to hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Reach the right elbow up towards the ceiling, coming into a nice twist. So we're trying to draw the bottom side of the rib cage through. Gazing up towards the ceiling if you can. And one more breath. And breathe in, reach fingertips up. Breathe out to release hands either side of the front foot. Tuck back, toes under, lift the knee off the mat. Press into your hands and lift the right foot all the way up towards the ceiling, 3-legged downward dog. Release that foot down onto the mat. Take shoulders above the wrist, coming back into plank. Now it's the left knee that draws in towards the chest. Release the foot back into plank. Right knee in towards the chest. And release into plank. So again, firming up this core, but we want to keep the back of the neck long. Release the foot. 2 more, so right knee draws in. The foot releases down onto the mat. Now with the left knee, draw in towards the chest. Roll it here. And then using your core, step the foot through between the hands. Allow the back knee to come down, inhaling Anjaneyasana. Sinking down into that front knee just to stretch further through the hip flexor. Chest is nice and open. Take palms together in front of the chest. Rotate through the rib cage to face the longer end of the mat. Left elbow to the inside of the left knee, spinning round. Try to take your thumbs to your sternum. Allow the left hand to come to the inside of the left foot, reach the right hand up. And then spin on the right knee. Shin parallel with the mat. And that variation of Utthita Parsukonasana. Release the right hand down, spin on the right knee. Left hand to the outside of the left foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the knee off the mat. And step the right foot to meet the left. Exhale, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, hands on the shins, halfway lift so the torso is parallel with the mat. Exhale, back into your forward fold, just flushing that out. Taking one big sweep, arms overhead, palms together, gazing to your thumbs. Exhale, releasing the hands onto the hips. So this time, lifting the right leg. So we're taking this leg out to the side, trying to take it in line with the hip. And then exhale as you allow the foot to descend back down towards the mat. Inhaling, lifting the foot up. Exhale to descend it down. Inhaling, so using your left leg for stability. Exhale. 2 more times, inhaling, sweeping the leg out to the side. Exhale to draw it to the center. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Keep the foot hovering, release hands down onto the mat, and lift the right leg behind you. And again, softening into the left knee if you need to, firming up through the back thigh. Release the right foot down onto the mat, then lower the knee down. Inhaling, sweeping into Anjaneyasana, palms together in front of the chest. This time we're hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Spinning that torso round. Gazing up towards the ceiling if you can. And as you breathe in, reach fingertips up. Exhale, release hands either side of the feet. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee off the mat. Extend the left foot all the way up towards the ceiling, 3-legged downward dog. And as you breathe out, release the foot down onto the mat. Descend the heels back down towards the mat, coming into downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Constantly thinking about pulling up into the thighs but without locking out the knees, so every joint should be nice and bouncy here. Making sure you're not rigid in any posture. You might feel a little bit stiffer to do than you do normally. Just working with how your body feels today. And then begin to walk the hands towards the feet. And then come into a forward foot. Just releasing through the shoulders, take the hands behind, interlace the fingers, and reach arms overhead. Allow the head to drop down towards the mat. And then release the hands. Come all the way up to standing. Arms overhead, palms together. Exhale, coming back into your forward fold. As you breathe in, walk out into planks. We're firming up the core here. And then stopping when the hands come over the shoulders. And breathe in to send the right knee in towards the chest. This time we're going to come into a one-legged plank. So take the right leg so that it's in line with the hip, flexing the foot. Release the foot down onto the mat, coming back into your plank. Draw left knee in towards the chest line. Extend the leg behind. One-legged plank. Release the foot down. Same with the right leg. One more time. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Extend the leg behind. Draw that knee back in towards the chest. Place the foot through between the hands. Press into the left hand, send the right hand up towards the ceiling as we come into a twisted runner's lunge. Making sure you're on the ball of the back foot. As you breathe out, release the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Drop down onto the back foot. So heel should be in line here. And the back foot should just be slightly angled in, making sure right hand is to the inside of the right foot. Sweep the left arm all the way overhead to the tricep. So sorry, the bicep comes in line with the ear. And again, we're working on this rotation of the chest, working on drawing the bottom side of the ribcage through. Press into the feet, come up into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So we're leading with the right leg here. Gazing towards the right hand. Palms are facing down towards the mat. As you breathe in, begin to straighten the right leg and take arms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, sink back down into the front knee, coming in to your Warrior 2. Cartwheel the hands either side of the front foot, pick up the back heel. Pop through into Uttanasana, forward fold. Release here. Inhaling halfway there. And then exhale, come into your forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, bring palms together, admiring your thumbs. Exhale, release the hands onto the hips. So again, we're lifting the left leg, but I'll just do the right leg to show you again. So breathing in, extending the left leg out to the side. And then as you exhale, drop back to the center. So you're keeping your hands on your hips again, just to remind you to firmly engage your core, so lift the leg up. And then drop back. Trying to keep hip bones facing towards the front of the room. Exhale. 2 more times, inhale. And exhale, try not to lean over to the right side when you're doing this here, inhale. And then exhale again, keeping that foot hovering off the mat. Bring the hands together in front of the chest, coming in to Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Firming up through the back leg. Hips facing towards the mat. As you breathe out, slowly bend into the right knee. Release the left foot down onto the mat. And then keeping the palms together in front of the chest. Hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. And then come into Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. Strengthening through the back leg, drawing the heel away from you. Deciding whether you stay here, or maybe you take the left hand to the outside of the right foot and lift the right hand up towards the ceiling. And when we're in this full posture, we're still thinking about activating through the back leg and thinking about that rotation through the chest. Parivrtta means revolve, so thinking about revolving the ribcage. Now press into the feet. Come into a twisted high lunge, so torso is facing over to the right side. Breathe in, coming into Ashtachandasana, crescent lunge. Release hands either side of the right foot. Lift the right foot all the way up towards the ceiling, coming in to three-legged downward dog. Release the foot down onto the mat. Sink heels down for a moment and even just take a deep breath out through the mouth, just completely letting go. Preparing yourself for the other side, so breathing in, shoulders come above the wrists. Feeling your core firmly engaged. Draw the right knee in, left knee in towards the chest. One-legged plank. The leg is in line with the head. Release the foot down. Right knee in towards the chest line. Extend the leg behind, one-legged plank. And release the foot down. Left knee back. Extend it behind. Toes flexed. Knee back in towards the chest. Foot through between the hands. Twisted runner's lunge, press into the right hand, left hand up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, take the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Drop the back foot down onto the mat, keeping the knee off the mat. Rotating through the right arm and extending fingertips all the way forwards. Utthita Parsvakonasana, making sure heels are in line. Gazing towards that top hand if you can. Using one big inhale, press into the feet. Rise up all the way into Warrior 2. Gaze towards the left hand. Root down into your feet. Front knee should be directly above the ankle, back foot should be firmly on the mat, pressing more into the knife edge of the right foot to lift up through the arch of the foot. As you breathe in, straighten the left leg, arms overhead. Breathe out to sink down into the front knee. Cartwheel the hands either side of the front foot, pick up the back heel. Hop into Uttanasana, forward fold, allowing the right foot to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift, hands onto the shins. Exhale to release. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, bring palms together, stacking each vertebrae on top of one another. Exhale to release, hands on the hips. Right leg now. Inhaling, extending that leg out to the side. Exhale, draw it to the centre, making sure the foot doesn't touch the mat. Inhaling, extend the foot out to the side. Exhale to draw in. Inhale. And exhale, seeing if every time you can get slightly higher. Inhale. And exhale one more time here. One big sweep out to the side. Exhale, draw in. Keeping that foot hovering off the mat, palms together. Extend the right leg back. Bouncing the crown of the head forward. Trying to get hip bones facing towards the mat. Release that foot down onto the mat, coming in to your high lunge. Palms together in front of the chest. Extend the crown of the head forward, preparing for that revolved posture. So we're taking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Drawing the left elbow up towards the ceiling. Continuing to twist further out. Staying here, we're taking the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Lift the left hand up towards the ceiling. Firm up the back thigh. Now taking one big inhale, coming into that twisted high lunge. So the torso is facing towards the longer end of the mat, over towards the left side. Palms facing down towards the mat. As you breathe in, swivel the torso so it's facing towards the shorter end of the mat, palms up towards the ceiling. Release hands either side of the front foot. Extend the left foot all the way up, firmly engaging through the core, three-legged downward dog. Release the foot down onto the mat. Take the shoulders directly above the wrist, coming into plank. And just flushing this out with one vinyasana. So just drop down onto the knees. As you bend your elbows, lower the chest halfway down towards the mat. Inhale, coming in to just a gentle upward dog, just resting the knees on the mat. Just releasing through the core, dropping shoulders away from the ears, gazing all the way up. And then come into Balasana, Child's Pose. Big toes are together, just rest your head on the mat. And take a few breaths here. Taking your knees as wide as you need to allow the torso to come down. But keep active in this posture, walking the fingertips further away, creating more space through the back body. Just even take one big exhale out through the mouth. Coming back to your regular rhythm of breath if you've lost it. And then make your way into all fours. Allow the toes to tuck under straight and the legs downward facing dog. And just sinking heels down. Notice if your heels are a little bit closer towards the mat than they were at the start of the class. Becoming aware of the length that you've created through the body, becoming aware of that space. As you breathe in, extend the right foot up towards the ceiling, coming into that three-legged downward dog, finding that space through the side of the body. Draw the knee in towards the chest, take the shoulders above the wrists. Continuing to strengthen through the core, press into the hands. We reach the right foot back up, three-legged downward dog. Draw the knee in towards the chest, shoulders above the wrists. Inhale, reach the foot up. Knee in towards the chest. Hold it here, shoulders above the wrist. Again, we're pressing into those fingertips, so much so that they turn white. Allow the foot to come through between the hands. Drop down onto the back foot. Finding your warrior one, so again, making sure heels are in line. Press into your feet, creating the bend in the front knee, rise fingertips up. Finding that squareness through the hips. So imagining that your hip bones have headlights and you're allowing those headlights to face forward. Thinking about your foundation, so continuously in this class we're thinking about foundation, making sure toes are widely spread and you're not gripping on with your toes. Pressing into the knife edge of the left foot so the arch of the foot lifts up. Pulling up into the back thighs. Release the hands behind the back and release the fingers, preparing for humble warrior, so draw the hands down and open through the chest. Now we're going to take the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Allow the arms to come overhead. Continuing to root down into the feet, trying not to grip on with your toes, especially in that right foot. Trying to avoid allowing the arch of the back foot to collapse, continuing to pull up into the thigh, and with every exhale, just release the head further towards the mat. Now release the hands down onto the mat, so allowing the fingertips to reach the mat. And as you lengthen the fingertips farther forward, you're feeling that lovely stretch through the back of the body. Walk the hands towards the center, begin to straighten the right leg, coming into Purusvottanasana, pyramid pose. So the back foot is still angled in. Working on drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. With every exhale, just allowing the chest to come closer towards the thigh. Bend down into the front knee. As you do, pick up the back heel, so all 10 toes are facing towards the front end of the mat. Press into the feet, come into a high lunge. Place the hands onto the hips. We're going to shift all of the weight into the right foot and take the left thigh so that it's in line with the hips. So in one big swoop, balance on the right leg. And take the thigh. And if you need to, place the hand onto the front of the knee. Growing nice and tall. Finding stability in the body by rooting down into your foundation. Rooting down into that standing leg. And one more deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, extend the leg behind. Coming in to warrior 3, but with your hands on your hips. Back leg again is nice and strong, reaching the crown of the head towards the front of the room. As you slowly exhale, bend into the front knee, release the back foot down onto the mat. Hands either side of the front foot. Press into the hands, sweep the right foot all the way up towards the ceiling. Release the foot down onto the mat. Sink the heels down. Inhaling left leg now. Drawing in towards the chest, shoulders above the wrists. Inhaling, sweep the foot up. Exhale, draw back into the center. Inhaling again, sweep the foot up, 3-legged downward dog. Drawing in towards the chest. Now place the foot through between the hands, preparing for Virabhadrasana 1. Drop the back foot down onto the mat. Heel is further out than the toes, making sure heels are in line. Press into the feet, sweeping up into your posture. Again, thinking about your foundation, thinking about rooting down into the mat. And from your roots, growing nice and tall. Feeling strength through your legs. Release the hands behind the back and release the fingers. Draw the hands down, expand through the chest. The shoulder to the inside of the left knee, humble warrior. And just like in Purusvottanasana, we're thinking about squaring through the hips. Left hip back, right hip forward, releasing the head further down towards the mat. Now release the fingertips down onto the mat. And reaching those fingertips away, just fine, letting through the back of the body. Walk the hands to the center, square through the hips, begin to straighten the front leg, Purusvottanasana. And just like in every posture, working from the ground up, rooting down into your feet, pulling up into your thighs, squaring through your hips, and then finding length through the spine. Try not to stiffen through the neck, but then instead just allow the head to just melt towards the leg. Bend into the front knees, swivel on the ball of the back foot, press into the feet, come in to a high lunge. Hands on to the hips. Send all of your energy into the left foot, float the right thigh so that it's in line with the hip. You can touch the mat with the foot if you want to here. And again, we're just finding strength through the standing leg. And if you want to place your hands in front of the right knee, then do so. Just finding that stability, just doing whatever works for you. If you can, you're going to keep the thigh in line with the hip, keeping it hovering. Now begin to extend the right leg behind, finding Virabhadrasana 3, but keeping hands on the hips. And as your hands are on the hips, again, just feeling your core engage. Release the foot down onto the mat, coming in to a high lunge, reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. Then release the hands down onto the mat. Press into the hands, sweep the left foot all the way up, finding your three-legged downward dog. And as you're in this posture, find length through the side body. And release the foot down onto the mat. Flush this out with the vinyasa to take shoulders above the wrists, coming into plank. As you exhale, lower into chaturanga, either dropping down onto the knees or with legs straight. Inhaling, coming up in to upward facing dog, pulling up into the thighs. And as you exhale, find downward dog. Taking one big exhale out through the mouth here. And then on your next in-breath, right foot swoops up. Send the knee towards the right elbow. Then as you exhale, take the knee towards the right wrist. Send the knee towards the left wrist. Skip the knee up towards the left elbow. Draw it to the center. Place that foot through between the hands. Find your Virabhadrasana 1, back foot angles in, firmly down on the mat. Press into the feet, sweep fingertips up. Exhale, sinking further down into the posture. And release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, open through the chest, preparing for humble warrior. Right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, arms overhead. Allowing the weight of the arms to take the head closer towards the mat. Continuously thinking about your feet. Release the hands down onto the mat. Walk the fingertips towards the center, straighten the leg. Purusuttanasana. Finding length through the left side of the torso. Now bend into the front knee, pick up the back heel. Rise up in to a high lunge with the hands on the hips. Now send all of the energy into the right foot. We're going to float the left leg out in front. This time extending the left leg forward. Straightening the leg as much as you can in front of you. Release that foot slowly down without touching the mat, extend the leg behind. As you exhale, slowly bend into the right knee, release the left foot down, angling that foot in, coming back in to warrior one. Begin to straighten the leg out, preparing for Trikonasana. So swivel your hips so they're facing towards the longer end of the mat. Take arms shoulder height. So making sure heels are in line here, the left heel is further out than the left toes. Extend forward with the right hand. Allow the hand to lower towards the right leg. Reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. Trikonasana. Pressing down into the feet firmly, using your foundation. Finding stability through your foundation. Now extend the left arm overhead. Fingertips facing towards the shorter end of the mat. Staying here, really plugging your feet into the mat. Also extend the right hand forward. So hands are shoulder width apart, palms are facing inward. Release the right hand onto the mat, release the left hand onto the leg, and then just melt towards the mat, thigh. Now release the hands onto the mat, swivel on your feet so they're parallel with the outsides of the mat. Coming into Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold, just sending your head towards the mat. So in this posture, making sure feet are parallel with the shorter end of the mat. And you're drawing the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Now angle the feet so that they're at 10 to 2, bend into the knees and come into goddess pose. Palms together in front of the chest, drawing those knees open. Sinking down a little bit further if you can. Pressing into the feet, tucking the tailbone down. Now sinking all of your weight into the front knee. Coming into Skandasana, right elbow to the inside of the right knee, come onto the left heel. Opening through the inner thigh of the left leg. Release the hands onto the mat, walk the hands either side of the right foot, picking up the back heel. Press into the hands, lift the right foot all the way up towards the ceiling. And release that foot down onto the mat. Inhaling with the left leg, now extend the foot all the way up. Take the knee towards the left elbow. Take the knee towards the left wrist. Knee towards the right wrist. Scoot the knee up towards the elbow, to the center. Place the foot gently through between the hands, allow the back foot to come down onto the mat. Warrior one, press into the feet, float up. Making sure that that knee doesn't come over the ankle. It should just be directly above. Finding length through the torso. Find openness through the chest. Feeling the top thigh wrapping in. Release the hands behind the back, interlace fingers, draw the hands down, open through the chest. Lift shoulders to the inside of the left knee. Arms overhead, humble warrior. Left hip draws back, right hip draws forward. Arms draw further overhead to stretch. Not only through the shoulders, but to open through the inner thighs and open through the hips. Release fingertips onto the mat and walk those hands further forward, just finding length through the back body. And then walk the hands towards the center, straighten the left leg. Uttanasana, parallel pose. And if you've got tightness through this left leg, just soften into the knee, or even wrap your hands further up the leg. Swivel on the ball of the back foot, bend into the front knee, rise up into a high lunge with hands on the hips. All of the energy and all of the weight shifts into the left foot. Begin to draw the right foot forward, so we're hopping that foot through. And then extending, straightening the leg. Feeling the core engage as your hands are on the hips. And then slowly begin to extend the right leg back. Virabhadrasana, 3 warrior, 3 hands on the hips down. Slowly lower the foot all the way down, finding your warrior one now, extending fingertips up, squaring through the hips. Transitioning into Trikonasana, straighten the left leg, swivel the hips so they're facing the longer end of the mat, arms come to shoulder height. Gaze towards the left hand, almost imagining that someone's pulling your hand forwards. Keep the torso in line with the left thigh, allow the left hand to come down onto the mat. Reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. Making sure the heels are in line and finding your alignment in this posture. Drawing the left shoulder away from the ear. Shoulder blades sliding down the back. Now take the right arm overhead, so finding more length through the side body. Reaching the fingertips forward and either staying here or allowing the left hand to extend forward too. So really noticing how much you do have to use your foundation here. Noticing how much you have to press into the feet to find your stability, find your strength. Left hand releases down the left leg. Right hand releases down the left leg and just melt torso towards the thigh. Place the hands on the mat, walk your hands to the center of the mat, turning your feet so they're parallel with the outside of the mat. Taking your head towards the mat, coming into Prasarita-Padottanasana. Taking a moment here just to lengthen through the backs of the legs. Then turning your feet so that they're at 10 to 2, Use your core to rise up into bodies, both hands together in front of the chest, thumbs coming to the sternum. Peeling knees open. Sinking down a little bit further if you can, really opening through the inner thighs, opening through the hips. Making sure knees continue to track in the same direction as your toes. One more breath here. And then we're going to sink down into the left knee. Come on to the right heel, coming into Skandasana. If it's easier, place your hands onto the mat for that stability. Just taking a moment to open through the inner thigh of the right leg. Release the hands onto the mat, walk the hands either side of the front foot, picking up the back heel. Hands either side of the foot, press into the hands, reach the left foot all the way up towards the ceiling. And drop the foot down onto the mat. Lift the gaze, bend the knees. Take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Left foot to the outside of the left hand, coming into Malasana. Your low yogic squat, elbows to the insides of the knees, palms together. Find the lifting and lengthening through that chest. Dropping the sit bones down towards the mat. And you can just reach the fingertips forward here and just allowing the head to come down towards the mat. And then just coming to the center, take the hands behind, allow the sit bones to come onto the mat. Finding the center of your mat, extend the legs forward, and we're just going to stretch through the backs of the legs by taking arms overhead. Coming into Paschimottanasana, extending fingertips towards either the feet, the ankles, the thighs, or the calves, just wherever is comfortable for you. And rather than arching through your back in this forward fold, try to think about creating space between the tops of the hips and the bottom of the ribcage so that you're folding forward nicely there. Keeping the back long, keeping the back straight. And release the hands, bring the soles of the feet together. So I'll just come and face you here. So we're placing the soles of the feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana. Now we're going to hook peace fingers around the big toes and lift the heels off the mat. Extend the right foot up towards the ceiling, straightening the leg as much as you can. Allow the right heel to meet the left, and then extend the other leg out to the side, making sure your chest is nice and open. And slowly release the heel down. Both heels now extend out. And if you fall, that's absolutely fine. Just try and come back into this. So we're working on stretching through the inner thighs, working on engaging the core. So quite a lot going on here. And drawing those heels back together. And then we're going to take the hands behind and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So just shifting the sit bones towards the heels, walk the hands behind. Take the forearms on the mat. And then allow the back to come onto the mat. Take hands to the inner thighs. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. And you can even just take one breath in through the nose. And let the big sigh out through the mouth. So from here, I want you to decide whether to take Shavasana in this posture or coming in to corpse pose, coming into that Shavasana with the heels to each corner of the mat. So I'm going to give you those options in this class. Just choosing whichever feels right for you in this moment. Finding that stillness. Feeling your body back to its natural rhythm. So allowing yourself to slow down. And if you've got more time, you can stay in this posture for longer. Otherwise, bring the knees together. Take the knees in towards the chest. Then roll over onto your side. And then just slowly come up to a seated position on the mat. Allowing your eyes to stay closed, or at least your gaze to draw down. Allowing the hands to rest on the knees or on the thighs. Growing nice and tall. And take arms overhead, bring palms together. Allow the thumbs to come to the crown of the head. Keep them between the eyebrows to the third eye. And into the heart center. Om Shanti. And that was quite a tough class, quite challenging. So if you got through it, well done. And if you didn't, even just come and revisit the practice and see if next time you've managed to build a little bit of strength. And we'll hopefully see you virtually soon.